Hi, Alan.
Hello, Mario. Good evening.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem.
Oh, you have a new hairdo.
Yeah,
Eh?
I bought it. I bought it in the store this afternoon. Takes time until it gets set up here. Yeah,
So what's new?
I gotta protect what I have, the little I have.
Yeah,
The,
you have to treasure it.
yeah. The only consolation is I know people that are younger than me have less than I have, so that's something. Be thankful what I have. My father lived to 96. He had all his hair. Baruch Hashem. He had all his teeth and all his hair. He was,
But you have to look in your mother's family.
oh, is that what it is? Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. They were bald. My mother's side. My mother's brothers were bald. So,
That's it.
oh well. What can I do? Yeah, yeah.
But in my case, my uncles were bald. One
Oh,
of them,
really?
one
So
of them was very bald.
on your mother's side, you mean?
But the other brother had hair.
Okay.
So I suppose I was lucky.
My sister-in-law one time, she's single, she's not married, but so once they tried to fix her up with a guy, an older guy. So does he have hair in his head? Yeah, sure he does. In his nose and his ears. That's in his head. His nose and his ears. Oh well, yeah. You have family coming in for Sukkot?
Well, my brother-in-law is here.
Yeah, he's staying over Sukkot too, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
Mario. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Mario Walter.
Mario, you should switch off the recorder because what happens is when you send the recording, there's like 5 minutes until Ernie comes on. So
I know. The problem I have with that is I've done it in the past.
put on your recording. Ernie.
Yes, sir.
You're okay. You can wear your gold watch.
Yeah. Well, no, because I'm the one. I don't wear my gold watch every day. It's only if you wear it every day.
Nor do I. Okay.
Right. So they say Shabbos and Yom Tov you can, but not on Yom Kippur.
So I once bought a platinum watch for that reason.
That you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it could be what it meant by Ema Sadin is not their kateger nasa saneger. It means you shouldn't dress up on Yom Kippur because of Ema Sadin. So that means you shouldn't wear any sort of special thing. That's why the Shabbos Yom Tov you're allowed, but not on Yom Kippur. Not because of the gold business. I think it's because of Ema Sadin means you shouldn't dress up, especially.
I've seen people wear a nice fancy kittel. I've seen that. Yeah, I'm not convinced that. And by the way, Rabbi Sternbuch, I didn't want to tell Tzvika, but Rabbi Sternbuch lived in South Africa.
You remember him?
No, he came after I left. He came in the late 70s. He was there.
I met Rav Moshe, Chuvas van Hagois, Sternbuch. I met him in Yerushalayim. He speaks English perfectly.
Yeah. Well, their families from England, I think, originally, some of them. One of them is in Antwerp. Yeah. All right. Okay. You wait.
New Perek, Pei Gimel, 83. Hakoisef li ishto dinu dvorim ein li b'nachsayich. He puts a Tanai in the Ksuba that he gives up all of his rights in her nichse malug. Doesn't make a difference. He still is allowed to eat peiros while she's alive. And the imesa yorsha, and he inherits, because this chus, we'll see, cannot be removed. So then what did he accomplish by writing him that I don't have anything to do with your assets? What it does is she imachra v'nosna kaya. In that situation, if she sells her property, it can't be reversed.
Is there a difference between if he's kosef and if he says it? Because if he says it, let's say in the form of a neder, does he have to be matir neder, or does it make a difference either way?
I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, but if he says a neder, maybe he has to be matir neder. Kosef, maybe it would be one
It's a
differently.
t'nai. He writes it in the ksuba, a special t'nai, but he's masna this, as he makes it t'nai, that he's mevater al the zechuyos. He doesn't give up his rights to Perus.
And if he said it in the form of a neder,
I don't know why it would be different. The difference would be that there he could be matir the neder. And maybe he could be matir the neder if it was written. I'm not sure there's a difference there either.
okay.
Normally, we're talking about that he wrote it in the ksuba.
Uh-huh.
Now, kosav ladinu dvar mainly b'nechsach uvefeiroseim. He adds, I don't want anything to do with your assets or their payrolls. So, in a chanami, areza eina ochel perish b'chayah. He doesn't eat payrolls while she's alive. But in Mesa Yorsha, he didn't remove himself from inheriting her. Rabbi Yudah Omer lo ela moichel peri peris. Even though he doesn't eat peros, he eats peri peris. Ad sheyich, the fruit of the fruit. Ad sheyichtav lo dinu dvar mainly b'nechsayich ubeperoseyen ubeperi peroseyen ad oilom. Then he doesn't have any peros ever. The peros becomes like the nichse maluk. Now, cause of law dinu dvar mainly b'nechsayich ubeperoseyen ubepero peroseyen b'chayich ubemoisech. He writes everything. I don't want anything to do with your assets, with your payros, with the payros while you're alive and after your death. Eina oichel peros b'chayev v'imesa ena yorsha. A person can be mevater a benefit that comes to him. And just like she can be mevater, certain benefits that come to her. So if he doesn't want to yarshin her, he can reject it. However, Rab Shimon Gamliel doesn't accept that. Imesa yirashena. Minei shemasna masha kazu b'torah. V'chala masna masha kazu b'torah. It's an eye bottle. The fact that a husband inherits his wife is minat Torah. And you can't make it tonight against the Torah. That's according to the pshat that Yerusha Sabal Deraisa. Rashi goes through a whole thing. There's a machlokas b'Bava Basra whether it is midaraisa or not. Tani Rab Chia. However, Ishto, he didn't write hakoisev. He said, like what Elazar said, even just by saying it is enough. The Tanai works even if he says it. Now, the Rambam brings Ein Hevdel in Koseves Advorim or Omram. There's no difference whether he wrote it or whether he said it, like Elazar said. Now, V'chi Kosev Lahachi Me'ai Have. Now, why does this ksiva or amira work? Vatanya. Omer l'chaveiro, person is a partner with somebody, and he wants to get out of the partnership. He says, "Dinu dvarim ainli al sodazu." I'm walking away from this field, or ainli asik, I want nothing to do with it. Yodei musuleka semet lo amar klum. That nusach is not a proper t'nai to prevent you from, to allow you to walk away from an asset. It's not a loshen matana. So why is our Mishnah, which seems to have the same loshen, dinu dvarim, why does that work? Amr dvei Rav Yanai, Our Mishnah is because of law, the oida arusa. When he wrote it, he didn't have ownership at all in the Nechsim Aluk. Therefore, he can take his hands away from it. Somebody who the land belongs to a person and he wants to give it to somebody, he has to give it with a lotion of a matana. The Mishnah where he says, where he wrote, he hadn't really gotten in the chosim yet. So therefore he could make a t'nai. Rashi says, "Umasne ima shlo yiskeh behen l'chashi yisena." Vein tzarch loshen matana sharein lo achshav reshus behen. You don't need a special loshen of a gift because he has, or even of a t'nai, because he doesn't have any ownership in it. Rav Kana, Rav Kana, nachlo abol oda b'makom acher, oda masna aleh shelo yirashena. If he's going to get an indirect inheritance, let's say through his wife or through a gift, he can say, he can make it tonight and say, I don't want it. But once he gets an asset, then he can't do it anymore. He can give it away, but he can't make it tonight that I won't get it. The Rava, Dama Rava, let's say there's a certain takanus chacham that benefits a person. He says, I don't want it. You can listen to that. Mike gonzu. Ravun Amarav, Dam Ravun Amarav. Yechoyle isha shetormi labayla ein nizonis v'eni oisa. Normally you give me mezonis and I give you my maisi adayim. I'll make a deal with you. You don't give me mezonis and I'll keep my earnings. Yachi afilu nesuah nami. So then, why wouldn't it work when after the nisuin? Like a woman that says ein nizonis. Why did Rav Yana have to explain our Mishnah Barusa? Am Rabbi Nesu Yado Ki Yada. His rights and ownership in the Chasim is like hers. So he's a partner. He has a certain kinyan after Nesuin. So you cannot get rid of that asset with this kind of dinud vorm ein lecha. That doesn't have legal standing. You'll have to use other language. And Rava says further, Yodo adifa mi yodo. When it comes to a married woman, he has more rights in her nechasim than she does. And nafkamina l'shomeres yoveh. The nafkamina is if she falls to a lady in waiting. If a woman falls to Shimon. If their hands would be equal, we say that they're equal because when they get married, his hand is stronger. So iboilu, kanu miyado mahu. Let's say he doesn't just write to his friend that I want to get out of this field. I'm a partner with this field, I want out. That doesn't work. But let's say he made a kinyan. Rav Nachman migufa shel karka kanu miyado. The kinyan doesn't have any more power than whatever he said. And Rav Yosef medinut varm konim yoda. Excuse me. Rav Yosef says medinut varim. The kinyan doesn't add anything, but Rav Nachman says migufa shel karka konim yodo. It's halal the goof of the karka, and it's like the giving of the karka itself. Rabbi, Mistav Milsa Rav Yosef, ba'oirer. For example, if right away the partner comes and he protests on the portion that was given to him, then you might say that the reason he wrote Dinud Dvarim, I want to get out of it, is not so there shouldn't be fights. But if each partner already had chazak in their piece of land, and the giver, let's say, of half the land to the other guy has regret, he cannot go back. He cannot go back. Does he have to be protesting, or can he have chazak in the field? Rav Yosef. The Shaila Rav Yosef. I don't hold of that. I don't accept the words of Rav Yosef. Now, when he said Dinu Dvarim, he doesn't lose out Paris, then why did he write it? Why doesn't they answer? It seems like a general statement. Maybe he's getting rid of all of his rights, inner assets. We always take the minimal hischayvus of a star. So we're going to accept only the minimal amount of removal of him from assets as we can. So the Emami Peri, maybe he was trying to get rid of payros. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. He'd rather have the payros which are present now. The Emami Yerusha, maybe he wants to get rid of being Yarshaner. Rabaya, Misa Shchicha. Death is something that occurs. But Mechira lo Shchicha. So V'chi Mesalik Inish Nafshe B'milsad lo Shchicha. A person is going to remove his rights in something that is Shchiach. From something that's going to happen with high likelihood, he's not going to get rid of that. So Yerusha is not going to get rid of. Mechira, which is he's going to get rid of, he's going to lose the payros, that is something that's not shchiach, he might make such a statement to get rid of it. Rav Ashi Amar ben Ichsayich, the law b'peiros saying, means specifically not, I'm not giving up my right in the payros. At ben Ichsayich v'lo lachar misa. Ben Ichsayich means your current assets, and not, he doesn't mean that he's getting rid of his rights after misa. Rabbi Yehuda Amar lo yilemu achel peres. According to Rabbi Yehuda, he eats the fruit of the fruits. Tana Rabbanon, elu ein peres ve'elu ein peres. She brought in fields, and he grew peros. Harein peros. Mochar per, if they sold those fruits, v'lacha mehen karka, they bought a piece of land. V'asta peros harein peros. So iboy luhu. Rabbi Yehuda peres dafka. When Rabbi Yehuda says peres, is it only the immediate second generation? Oidilma ad oilam dafka. Oidilma tarvayu dafka. Maybe he has to say both. And if he didn't say both, he didn't remove himself. Now, im timsler peres dafka means it's only the first generation. Ad oilam lamali. What's he adding with ad oilam? Hakamashman given the cause of la peres, command the cause of la ad oilam dafka. By writing peres, it's as if you wrote command ad oilam forever. According to the mandam that says you got to write ad oilam, and what do you need peres for? Because of ad oilam in it works. Lo. You need both. Why do you need both? Tartilamali. Tzricha. Because of la peres lo kol ad oilam have mean a peres who lo yochel. Maybe the second generation of a peres, third generation ochel. Because of ad oilam lo kol peres Havim lo olam ha-peros koi. Meaning those peros he'll never eat. But other peros he would eat. L'hachi yitzrich peros to mean all peros. Iboilahu. Kasav ladinu dvar mainly b'nechsayich u'b'pera peros. He says, I want nothing to do with your assets and with your fruits. Ma'u sheyochal peros. Is he allowed to eat the index peros? Maybe mi pera salik nafshe. To the second generation, but mi pera salik nafshe. Oy dilma mikol milisai. I mean, he means to get rid of everything. So the Gemara thinks pshita to mikol milisai nafshe. He removed himself from everything. The if he only removed himself from the peros, but not from the peros. So if he's allowed to eat peros, given that little peros mehecha, how are you ever going to get peros? However, ula tameich hadis la rabbi Omer lo'olam u'achel peros. You could have said the same thing over there, given that little peros mehecha. He left some over. Hachanami b'deshayir. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says you can't make a t'nai on something written in the Torah, and you yarshin your wife from the Torah, so you can't make a t'nai against that. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Even if you wrote v'chayayich u'v'motzayich, you still yarshin her, because you can't be masked on something against the Torah. However, lo mitameh. Now, Allah is like Rabbi Shimon not because of his reason. What does that mean? That he still inherits her if she dies. But not for the reason he gave. He holds that if you make it tonight against something written in the Torah, it doesn't work. But the Rav suffered to know Kayim. So it's machloikes. Rosh Gamliel and Rav. Rav says you can make it tonight against the Torah. Ksaver Yerusha Sabal D'Rabbanan. So, but what's the reason why? Because the fact that a husband inherits his wife is rabbinic. The Chachamim also physically divrei yoser mishal Torah. They made and therefore they made a Tanai that the Gzer should not be misbatel no matter what happens. They made it even stronger than the Raisidic law. Okay.
I ask you something, going back to the Omen Aleph where he says, what he says with his partner, didn't divorce Eli Alasoda, and he says, Eli Asik Bazah, Eli Asik. Is that a Lashon of Hefker? If a person has if whatever he has, a Talton or something, and he uses those Lashon, doesn't that seem that's a Lashon Hefker?
But this is a partnership.
I know, but he says it's the same thing as a Lashon of Hefker.
You can't walk away from a losing partner. You have a field, it's losing money. You can't just walk away from it with using that language. There are things you might be able to do with Kinyan and other things.
I see. So that's
Lashon Hefker, Elazar, would be if you own the property completely and you say, I want nothing to do with this property.
I see.
But you've got to say the Africa Ara. There's also certain language you have to use to make it Hefker.
Okay, yeah, okay. So this is because he's got a partnership.
There's got a partner, so it makes it more difficult.
Okay.
Tomorrow.